Hello everybody, welcome back to another video. Today, we got another episode of reviewing NHL teams offseason so far. As today, we got the Columbus Blue Jackets, as we're going to be taking a look at their pretty good offseason, I gotta say, as they had a pretty good rebuild, trading away Seth Jones and a massive deal over to Chicago, and adding some pretty nice young players through the draft, and also through trades. But before we get into all that, I'd like to just say, if you are new to the channel, make sure to slap that subscribe button and hit that like button as well. That'll be very much appreciated, boys. So let's get into this one, as I gotta say, I liked what the Columbus Blue Jackets did. They made a lot of good moves, of course, getting Adam Bockwist in that Seth Jones move, which we'll be getting into here very soon. I absolutely loved. The Boone Jenner, Sean Corrali deals weren't my favorite, I gotta say, and the Jacob Voracek one was a little bit weird to trade away, Cam Atkinson, but you do save a year in the contract, and you get a playmaker who could possibly play alongside of Patrick Laine, so I'm excited to see how that will work. But let's get into the trades. Let's break down Jarmo Kekalainen's offseason, because he's had a pretty busy one. He had a new head coach there in Brad Larson. They didn't re-sign John Tortorella, and they went with somebody new. I think Brad Larson was coaching the AHL, I'm pretty sure, for the team. I don't exactly remember. You'll have to tell me, guys, in the comment section below. But he was working down there in the system for the Blue Jackets or somewhere else. Don't exactly remember. But I gotta say, it's a nice little coach signing. For a team like this that doesn't have a big market, doesn't have, a lot of financial help, it's not a bad idea to go after a guy like Brad Larson, and we'll see how well he does, in his first NHL coaching job. I'm pretty excited to see that. But anyways, except for that, let's talk about the moves. The first move on the docket is the Seth Jones move for Adam Bockwist, which I gotta say, this deal was an absolute W for the Columbus Blue Jackets. No matter which way you're putting it, even if Seth Jones does come back to being a top 2 defenseman, they did not have to pay Seth Jones $9.5 million. And, I mean, you didn't have to worry about, you got a bunch back. Like, you legit got a bunch back in this deal. Adam Bockwist is going to be most likely a top 2 defenseman for the Blue Jackets for a long time to come. This is a guy who's an elite level defenseman offensively. He is an awesome offensive defenseman, and if he does develop that defensive game, he could even become something even better. But when he was playing in the London Knights, I remember him a lot because I used to watch the London Knights a lot, but Adam Bockwist was just such a lethal player, and I think he is just a great pickup just in general right there. That's awesome. But then you get a first round draft pick for this past draft and a second round pick, and then you pick up a 2022 conditional first round pick as well. If it becomes a lottery pick, it gets pushed back to 2023, so most likely that might happen is what I'm guessing. But it doesn't really matter. You get a really nice pick on a team that is very unpredictable right now. They don't know where they're going to place. They're probably thinking that they might not even be a playoff team this year. They might be a guaranteed playoff team in 2023. But what happens if they're not? And that pick might be just a golden gem. And that 2023 draft, ladies and gentlemen, that's the Bedard and Matei Michkov draft. And if that year doesn't go good for Chicago, that is a deadly lottery pick to give up if they make it into the playoffs this year. If they don't make it into the playoffs this year, just saying. Like, that pick could be legit lethal and could potentially really backfire on the Chicago Blackhawks. That's why I see this deal as a massive W for the Columbus Blue Jackets, no matter which way you're looking at it. Seth Jones was not as good of a defenseman these last 2 years. I don't even think he's going to jump back up, and if he does, I don't know if he's going to be that amount of trade value, just, and picks that you gave up for that guy. I just don't think he's worth it. And what a move by Columbus, getting rid of a guy that was going to cost them a crap ton, and getting a crap ton back was just amazing if you're a Blue Jackets fan. And then also Jake Bean, they picked up Jake Bean for a second round pick, which was part of that deal as well, basically. So you get 2 really good offensive defensemen, and Jake Bean and Adam Bockwist. Amazing deal. And then the top one, where they picked up Jacob Voracek once again for Cam Atkinson. Now, Voracek is more of a playmaker for the Philadelphia Flyers when he was playing there. He used to, play in Columbus. He was drafted, I'm pretty sure, by the Columbus Blue Jackets, so now he's back where his career started. And, Voracek's had some rough times there in Philly dealing with the media, and now since he's going to be going over to the Blue Jackets, he might be dealing with less media crap. And honestly, this is not a bad move by the Columbus Blue Jackets. Cam Atkinson was a great goal scorer, but when you do have some goal scorers coming up the pipeline, in Igor and you got Laine there, and you kind of wanted a different player to, play alongside of Patrick Laine, Jacob Voracek might be that guy. He's a good playmaker. He's one more year less than what Cam Atkinson is. Cam Atkinson still has 4 years left on his contract, while Voracek has 3 years at an $8.25 million deal. You lose out on $2.3 million, but if you're rebuilding and your plan is to be a playoff team in 3 to 4 years, then you're not going to have to really worry about Voracek's contract being on your team exactly, right? So I think it's a really good move. And if Voracek continues to play like how he's been playing, and he had a decent year. Offensively, the guy was pretty solid. Defensively, sure, he's not really there defensively. He's never really been a defensive guy. He's been mostly, he passes that puck. That's his main offensive ability, is that he passes the puck great, and he does score sometimes. And I think it's a good pickup by the Columbus Blue Jackets. It really does suck to lose a guy like Cam Atkinson, who has been a big producer, a big leader for the team. And, you can't compare the salary caps. It's not that big of a difference, but, you look at them point-wise, Atkinson compared to Voracek right now, Voracek is a bit of the better player right now than Cam Atkinson, but it does suck to lose out on someone like Cam Atkinson. I feel like that deal was a slight nudge to the Philadelphia Flyers, since the Philly, they saved a bit of money in this deal, so I give that one to a bit of Philly, but it's a nice move still by Columbus, picking up a decent player in Voracek and giving themselves a playmaker. And then otherwise, this draft, I gotta say, give them a round of applause, because they did a really good job. They've already been doing basically a good job almost every year drafting with Liam Foudy, Igor Chinkanov, Kirill Marchenko. They've done really good with their drafts. Now this year they had 3 first-round picks, and they picked up Kent Johnson, Cole Sillinger, and Carson Coleman's, which I like all 3 of those draft picks. And then you also get Stanislav Suval as well, which was a really nice pickup. Don't know the rest of the guys, but this draft was really solid just in general by getting Cole Sillinger and Kent Johnson. Cole Sillinger, another future centerman for the team. He was born and raised here in Columbus, Ohio, or his birthplace, right? So this is a perfect spot. I think they drafted 2 guys that are near Ohio, and you kind of need to do that, right? The way that you want to build your team is by those types of players, and Cole Sillinger had a great year there in the USHL. Same with Kent Johnson there with, the University of Michigan? Yes, there with Owen Power, and he also had a solid season as well. So it's an exciting time to see that, prospect core really grow there with Columbus, especially now with Kent Johnson and Cole Sillinger being added to it. And that's only the beginning. Wait until this upcoming season when they're going to be potentially probably making some more deals and maybe picking up some more picks in this next draft. It's going to be a deep one. That's for damn sure. And then their free agent acquisitions, they did, a decent job at this. They got Laine back for a year. Laine's he's been meh. I really was a big fan of Laine when he jumped in the league, and then now he's been having some problems, and this year he just wasn't able to fit in very well with Columbus. Neither was that team was a big offensive contributor of a team anyways. And, it sucked what happened in Winnipeg, but it was a nice deal for Columbus to pick up a nice goal scorer in Laine. And if he does get back to that, his proper self where he is producing that amount, that's perfect, because the $7.5 million would be worth it. But it's really not worth it for a player like Patrick Laine right now. He's not worth that amount of money for a guy that only had 21 points in 45 games. I would like to see what he does in the next year, and I know he was coached under Tortorella, and he had some problems there, and this team's not a huge, offensive contributing team. That's why I'm excited to see what he's going to do this upcoming season with Voracek and, a little bit of a different teammates, and maybe the youth starting to pop into the lineup as well. I would like to see that. Then you got Boone Jenner and Sean Kuraly. I really did not like these deals. Boone Jenner, he's a big team leader for the team, of course. Defensively, the guy's really defensively sound. He's a really good, winger, center, whatever you need him to be for your forward core. He is that type of player. Sean Kuraly was a 4th-line guy for the Boston Bruins, and now is going to be playing probably 3rd-line minutes, and is definitely not worth $2.5 million for the next 4 years. I really don't believe that. I don't know why they necessarily paid him that amount of money for that amount of years. I'm excited to see how well he'll do, but I don't know if that's really even worth for Sean Corrali. The Texier contract I quite like, and same with Eric Robinson. And then they also got Kevin Steele to a deal as well, but that was later or earlier on in June. And then the last big move was Zach Werenski. He signed the 6-year, $9.5 million deal, which was just absolutely massive. And, I don't know how to necessarily talk about this one, that I like it, but I also dislike it at the same time. Like, a lot of these defensemen were getting these types of contracts no matter what, but Werenski got paid more than Cal McCarr, and that's saying a lot. Werenski is a good defenseman, but not in the levels of Cal McCarr. But I will say this. If Zach Werenski continues to improve like this, what I'm about to show you. Now, before I click on it, I'd like to just say, make sure to go check out Jfresh. His link will be down in the description below. But here is Zach Werenski's card. And the reason why I'm saying that this could be a really enticing player is because of his defensive analytics. He's been improving defensively every single year, and if he continues to do that, then that is awesome. That is awesome for the Columbus Blue Jackets, and he'll be well worth that $9.5 million. But can he continue becoming that, better and better player? He's only 23 years old, and he's putting up analytics like this. He's quite a good defenseman for the Columbus Blue Jackets, and getting him on a deal like that is not a bad idea. And especially when the defensive market is going up the way that it's going up, you might as well get your defenseman locked up for a good solid 6 years. Not a bad move. And if he continues to improve like how he was last year, the sky's the limit for Zach Werenski. I really do believe that. So, depth charts now. We'll take a look at that, and then we'll end the video off. But I gotta say, I quite like what the Columbus Blue Jackets have done. They still look like a solid, decent team if they can stay healthy this year. And, they're getting Nyquist back in the lineup. Can Laine have a good season this upcoming year? Roslovic, how well... Sorry, guys, for the mic there. Jesus, I'm abusing things. How well will their youngsters jump up with Igor, Steenland, guys like that? Will Liam Foudy jump into the lineup and actually produce a little bit this upcoming season? How well will Max Domi play if he does play this year? Lots of big questions are coming up for the Columbus Blue Jackets. I don't think they're going to be a playoff team, and for the grade I'm going to give them, I think I'm going to give them an A-. There was some moves that I didn't like, but with that Seth Jones move was stellar. You can also get Jake Bean. They also had a really, really good draft on a draft that wasn't that strong. I quite liked what they did. They built up their prospect core pretty solid now. So when you look at it, they look a little bit more beefier than what they've had in the past. And now they're going to be going into another draft where they have another 2 first-round draft picks. It's just a lot is going right for the Columbus Blue Jackets. Plus you got Adam Bockwist. Plus you got Jake Bean. Like, you got a lot of young players coming up the pipeline, and you should be really excited if you're a Columbus Blue Jackets fan. But for right now, guys, I'm going to end the video here. Thank you very much for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys all in the next one. Adios, amigos.